short book with the thought of preparing for my workshop, but also I was reading it for me too, because I'm going to babysit for my granddaughter and stuff like that, and it's about being conscious, not only as a parent but as a person, conscious people, about waking up and being conscious. And it was neat because I love to sit on the beach and look around and watch everybody and listen and just take it all in. And it was interesting because you sit there and you look around and you think about the word unity on a beach, because you don't know what the person aside of them, what they work, what they make, where they live. Do they live in a big house? Do they live in a small house? Do they drive a big car? Do they drive a small car? Are they CEO of a company? Are they, what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because everybody's there and they're the same and they're enjoying life and they're having fun. So, it kind of gives more of the unity because, everybody's the same there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're all on the beach having fun in the sand. And then, I started to watch families and kids, and especially I honed in on the parents with the small girls, because I've got every granddaughter, the parents with the little girls and how they interacted and how they expressed love and how they showed love and things that they said to each other. And I thought about this workshop and things that I'm reading in the Conscious Parenting book, and also I'm going to bring in information from a book called The 5 Love Languages of Children. And there's also a book called The 5 Love Languages, period, which I'm going to be doing a workshop for relationships also. But it's interesting when we think about things that we say to kids and we think our words don't mean that much. Or sometimes we get angry, we get whatever, and we spout things out. And we really aren't conscious sometimes of the words that we say and how important the words that we say are. So, one of the things, like when kids keep asking questions, and they keep asking questions, and they keep asking questions, and what do you end up saying? Because I said so, right? Well, why? Well, why? Well, why? Because I said so. And I thought about that, because I said so. How important that statement is, because I said so. Taking that out of the context of what we say to the kids because I said so, but applying it to our lives because I said so. So just keep that in mind, okay, because I said so. Then another book I was reading was the Essential Charles Fillmore book, and there was a thing called The God Presence in there, an article that he wrote called The God Presence. And he talked about what God is and what God isn't. And so I want to ask you and think a little bit differently. What would you say God is?
We are God. We are here to manifest our godliness here on earth.
Okay, good expression. Is God power? Is God powerful? Is God love? Is God wisdom? Is God intelligent? Okay. I want to read something from God Presence here. Okay? If I say that God is the almighty power of the universe and have in mind power as we see it expressed in physical energy and force, I have not set up the right standard of comparison. It is true that all power comes from God, but it does not follow that the character of the thing we term power is the same in the unexpressed as it is expressed. God is power. God is power. Man is powerful. God is that indescribable reservoir of stored up energy that manifests no potency whatever until set in motion through the consciousness of man, yet possesses an inexhaustible capacity that is beyond words to express. When that power is manifested by man, it becomes conditioned. It is described as powerful, more powerful, most powerful, and it has various degrees of expansion, pressure, velocity, force, and the like. This power is used by man to oppress one another, and there has come a belief in God and there has come to be a belief that God is power in the sense of great oppressing capacity. In an ancient belief that he can and does exercise his power in punishing his creations, pouring out upon them his vengeance. but this is not the character of divine power. If by power, and this is the important thing here, if by power we mean force, energy, action, oppression, then we should say that God has no power, that God is powerless. Because his power is not like the so-called power that is represented by these human activities. And a lot of times when we talk about the power of God, the almighty power of God, we have a wrong concept about that. And I love this, okay, this one I have highlighted. God does not exercise power. And think about everything that we have been taught, or we have been thought to know about God. It's by the power of God, by God's power. God's going to do this, right? God's going to exert his power. God does not exercise power. God is at all present and all quiet powerlessness from which man generates that which he calls power. So think about that. That's deep. God does not exercise power. God is at all present and all quiet powerlessness from which man generates that which he calls power. So, let's think about, I thought about this when it says about generate. We are the generators. We are the generators here on earth, okay? Now, when we have a blackout or whatever, and everything it's done, okay? Everything, there's no connection or whatever. The electricity's there, but we can't use it, right? Unless we have, what? A generator. Right? When that generator pops on, then again, we have all that stuff. We have all that access to us. Correct? So it is with the power of God. Think about that. We are the generators. Without us, to generate that power is not there. It's basically powerless. Right? So that power has to be generated through us. So, how do we do that? How do we generate that power through us?
Meditation.
Meditation?
Consciousness, awareness.
Okay. Do you remember ever hearing, thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee, and the light shall shine upon thy ways. Okay, and this came from Job 22:28, the King James Version. So Jesus taught us this all along in the New Testament, just in different ways, and I'll show you how he did that. Thou shalt decree a thing. What does that mean?
When you think,
So,
You're going to say it so.
yeah, you're going to think and speak, and it manifests.
Okay. You're going to say, because I said so. Right? Right? Aren't we?
Well, that's ego. I said so. That's your ego.
Okay, it is, but now think about this. Whenever something bad happens to us, what do we say?
it's God's will.
Why, it's God's will. Why did this happen? Why does this have to happen?
He doesn't care.
And what would be a good answer to why does this have to happen?
We created it.
Because I said so. And think about that. Think about if we could actually attach that to what's happening in our life, and then take the responsibility for it to change it. Because really, isn't that what it is? Isn't that like what it is? Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto you. Okay? It's what we say. It's what we say. We say something, so it's what we say. So now, how many times, and we usually when things go bad is when we say, why did this have to happen to me? When things are really great and we won $1 million, do we say, why did that have to happen to me? We usually don't say that, but again, you know what? What could we say behind that? Because I said so. Because my consciousness was there, basically, right? Because my consciousness was there. And not that, my consciousness was there. I know what you're saying about ego, saying, I created this. Because of ourselves, and again, we have to know our connection. We have to know our connection. And the relationship between us and God is, just like Jesus said, I can do nothing by myself. And he says, and he talks about God being He's the branch and the vine, and we are the branches. Okay? We're all connected. But we are the expression of that. And that's what we have to really, really understand is that's God working through us. We are that expression. And our word, our consciousness, what we decree is making our reality. Everything in the physical realm came from the spiritual realm. Everything in this physical realm came from our consciousness, from the spiritual realm. In Hebrews 11:3 it says, through faith we understand that the worlds were formed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which... Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. Right? It came out of our own consciousness. Since the physical realm is a product of the spiritual realm, if we want to affect the physical realm, we need to get into the spiritual realm. We need to get into our consciousness, and we need to know that we are the generators of that power. That power is nothing until we start generating it, working through that. And do you know what? My next message next week is going to be about love. And it's going to be about, we say about God being love. Is God love? In a way, God is love. However, what makes God love? That love is not available or worth anything until it's expressed through us. Right? So we are that generator. We're the generator of power. We're the generator of love. So a decree might be defined as an order, a law. It is a command that is set forth by authority that must be followed by those under that decree. Once a decree is made, it cannot be changed until after the one that has made it has died. That's when the decree, and the king sent a decree or whatever. But when we decree a thing, when we say that it's so, and so it is. And what do we say a lot of times? And see, you know what? This is where we get into just saying things mostly kind of without thinking about it. When we say a lot of things in our affirmations and stuff like that, what do we say at the end? And so it is. And so it is. And so it is. We're decreeing that. We're saying, and so it is. It's because I said it is. And when we think about our world and everything else, once we realize that, and we realize that we are the generators of the power, we're the generators of the power for peace. We're the generators of the power for love. And where we are is because we said so. But we also have the option to change our words and our consciousness and say something different and decree something different. Think about, and this, Jesus said in Mark 11:23, "For verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, Be thee removed, and be thee cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatever he saith." There again, because I said so. And we think about a mountain. What kind of mountain do we have in our life right now?
Thoughts. They're mountains.
Yeah, do you know what? They are. They are mountains. And, we all have our mountains, our thoughts, because our physical life really is our thoughts, right? Our physical life is our thoughts. So those mountains, if we want to change our physical life, we start with those mountains. And we realize, I made that mountain. I made that mountain, yeah. But you know what? If I made that mountain, I have the possibility to also decree it and say, be cast into the sea, forever gone. Go away. Because I said so. Why? Because I said so. My consciousness is at a different place. And if you think about everything that was created in the Bible, or every creation story or whatever, think about Genesis. Let there be. That's a huge statement to say, let there be peace. Allow it, let that energy. God created the world by just let there be. Let there be harmony in my house. Let there be peace in my life. Let there be prosperity my pocketbook, whatever, decree a thing, and it will be so, because I said so. Think about Jesus and all that he taught us. And we look at the Bible metaphysically, like he teaches us how to act, how to create miracles, how to live, whatever, okay? So he taught us by example. He's our way shower, we say. So think about the storm brewing, okay? And Jesus was asleep in the boat. All the disciples are going, oh my God, we're going to die, we're going to die, we're going to die. The storm's going to kill us. What did Jesus do?
On the storm.
How?
By calming the consciousness of the others and himself.
Okay, and what did he affirm? Be still. Be still.
And know that I am God.
Be still. So he said to the waves and the storm, be still, because I said so. Because, my consciousness is here. He said, wind, be still. Waters, be calm. And that was the power, and that's the power that we have. When we read these stories, and oh my God, it's a miracle and everything, but yet the whole Bible says these things we can do too. So why are we having such a hard time understanding that? And truly, truly believing it. It's through the whole Bible Jesus teaches us this. John 5:19, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what he seeth the Father do. For what things soever he doeth, these also doeth the Son likewise. Whatever we can attribute to the power of God, for God to actually be powerful, it has to go through us and work through us, through our consciousness. Some more examples of what Jesus did. When Jesus saw their faith, he said unto the sick and the palsy, sons, thy sins are forgiven thee. He said to the sea, peace, be still. He said, daughter, thy faith has made you whole. Go in peace and be whole. He said, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believe. But all of these things, all of the so-called miracles, he decreed something. He said something. Your faith has made you whole. He decreed that. And he said, you're whole, you're healed, you're well. Because I said so. And people believed that, and it was the belief that did that. So, our consciousness has to be at that place of belief. But when we see these things and we start realizing it, we get into more of a way of belief. I have a couple of little stories here, but this is one. The headline was "Bionic Legs Give Paralyzed Woman a Path to the Freedom She Had Before Skiing Accident," and it's about a woman named Amanda Boxtel. And it says, after a skiing accident left her paralyzed from the waist down, Amanda Boxtel was told she would never walk again. Refusing to surrender, she set out to prove to her doctors and to herself that she could overcome her fate. The journey took her nearly 20 years, but thanks to an artificially intelligent bionic device, she was able to achieve her improbable goal. On Sunday, she shared her extraordinary story with us here, and it says, Boxtel was skiing in Aspen, Colorado in 1992 when she took her life-altering fall and found herself paralyzed. I was 22 years old, the native Australian told the audience. I was an aerobics instructor, I was a dancer, I was an athlete. All of a sudden, all of that changed in a split second. A few weeks after the accident, a young doctor came to her hospital room and delivered the news. Amanda, you will never walk again. Boxtel recalled him telling her, but in that moment, I decided to prove him wrong. Okay? She made a decree. She took it on her and said, I will walk again. Okay? And because I said so. Boxtel asked the audience members to steady their feet on the ground and hold their hands straight forward to demonstrate what it's like to be paralyzed. She asked everyone to try to move their hands and feet only with their thoughts. Nobody could. Surrender your mind to only the thought of moving, she explained. All you have is the memory of how it was. It went on to say about how this company actually devised bionic legs that attach now to her thoughts so that she can move those limbs. And I know they do have arms and stuff like that, which is amazing. But think about, how did that get created? By a lady? Could have it been, and think about this, could have it been by the power of one person who had the belief and the ability to decree, I will walk again. You're wrong, I will walk again. You know, very possibly, because we don't realize what power we have. When we decree a thing, so it is, and so it is, because I said so. When we talk about belief, I like this story about belief. One businessman was in debt and couldn't figure out a way out of it. Creditors were pressing him. Suppliers were demanding for payment. He was sitting on a bench in the park with his head down, thinking about how he could save his company from bankruptcy. Suddenly, an old man appeared in front of him. I see something is bothering you, he said. After listening to the businessman, the old man said, I think I can help you. He asked the businessman what his name was, wrote him a check, and was shoving it into his hand, saying, take this money. If you need it, use it. If not, use it as a buffer. We will meet here next year, exactly 1 year, and you will be able to return this money to me in full. After that, he turned around and disappeared just as suddenly as he appeared. The businessman saw a check in his hands for the amount of $500,000, signed by John Rockefeller, one of the richest people in the world at that time. I could end all my problems at this time, he thought, using this check. But he thought about what the person said. He said, use it if you need it, but use this as a buffer. And no, changed his belief to I can, right? So now he's saying it's so. He changed totally around, says it's so. He thought, but instead the businessman decided to put the check into his safe. Only one thought about his existence gave him strength. Only one thought about his existence gave him strength to find a solution to save his business. So that thought about that check changed his business around to thinking, I can do this, right? With the return of his optimism, he concluded profitable deals. He was able to commit a few big deals. During a couple of months, he got out of debt and started to earn money again. Exactly 1 year later, he returned to the park with the same check. At the agreed time, the old man appeared again, and at the moment when the businessman wanted to return the check and to share his story of success, a nurse ran up and grabbed the old man. I'm so glad I caught him, she explained. I hope he wasn't bothering you. He always runs away from the house and tells everyone he's John Rockefeller. Surprised, the businessman was standing there bemused. During the whole year, he was spinning and building a business, buying and selling, convinced that he had $500,000. Suddenly he understood that it's not the money, real or imaginary, that turned up in his life. It was his new confidence that gave him strength to achieve everything that he had now. I think that's awesome, thinking about that. It was his ability to declare it was so. It was his change in consciousness that gave him that power. And it all goes back to, the check was false. But it was something that he believed. He believed enough to change his own idea. And once he declared, and what was the turning point? Once he declared that he could get out, he could find another way, he could do something different. So, wherever we are in life, whatever situation we're in life, whatever we're facing or whatever, and I think about you, Nancy, you're gonna go through that surgery, with flying colors, because we said so. We're decreeing it, we're seeing it, we're saying, and so it is. And I think we've been taught for years and years and years not to, the power of God. We don't want to be blasphemous and everything else. We don't want to say that. We don't want to take that power from God. However, that power is there for us to use. And that's the only way it becomes power, is through us. In decreeing, saying it so. Any comments? Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, you were saying earlier about people always when a tragedy happened or something and say, why me? Why did you let that happen? He didn't make it happen, but he can make it right.
Right, right. Yeah, and that's it. We have to know. We have to know it's our consciousness, and that if we open our mind, the answer will always be there. The answer will always be there. The way will always be there. You know, just like this businessman. He was sitting there. His answer came to him, unbeknownst. You know, it was a totally false answer, but he believed it, and it was enough to turn his consciousness around to declare. You know, and all of these people, when we talk about success stories, it had to start with them saying, and I said so. I'm going to succeed, and I said so. You know, I'm going to do this, and I said so. Because I'm going to be that generator. I'm going to take that power from God, and I'm going to generate it out. You know, and that's what we're here to do, is to be God's hands, legs, you know, the generators, the generating power. Anybody else?
Anything long-standing, Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, Mozart, Dvorak, anything that's long-standing, they were co-creators with God. Because pop music comes and goes, reggae comes and goes, but the long-standing of those geniuses are still with us. And they were co-creators with God.
And they let it flow through them, you know. And no matter what, to be creative, it's a matter of flowing through. You know, God is not creative until we use that power to be creative, basically. You know, and it's not. I'm not. You know, I'm saying it in a different. I'm not trying to be blasphemous or anything like that, but it's. You know, we are the generators, and we need to understand that. We need to understand that, and we need to know what's available to us. And we need to use that power in a loving way. Because, you know, I think about, you know, when we talk about the power of one person, you know, this girl with the legs, you know, that could have been, you know, they could have devised that just by the power of her suggestion out in there. You know, so many things have happened, you know, just by the power of one, declaring it to be so. And if you want to have a good song in your mind, that song that we sang in the beginning, I do, you know, believe it, you know, keep that in your head, you know, because I'm declaring it to be so. And when something happens, you know, whatever, think about our outcome. Think about the outcome that we want, and then declare it to be so. Make that decree, you know, because I said so. So, all right. So we'll take these thoughts then into meditation. And I invite you to just get comfortable in your seat. Just feel the chair supporting your body, the floor supporting your feet. You know, hear the trickle of the water going into the air. Feel the energy of the room. As you quiet your mind, quiet your thoughts. You go deep, deep into that quiet space. And I invite you to bring into mind a mountain that you want to move. Realize that that mountain is there only because you said it was there. Now it's time. Follow your belief. Follow your heart. Follow your soul. Say to your mountain, be cast into the sea. Take this time and make an affirmation of life, an affirmation of love, an affirmation of healing, an affirmation of prosperity. Whatever you feel lacking in your life, know that it was because you said so. But you have the ability now to say differently. Affirm what you want. Surrounded with the belief, the love, and the faith. And saying, so it is. Feel the excitement already manifested. Use all your senses to see, feel, taste, hear what it's like to be living in that manifested situation. And know that it is, as you said so. So it is. I invite you, if you want to take a few minutes to just feel in that, the warmth and the excitement